since Diddy has been arrested for his crime ring that occurs mostly at his parties, celebrities have been speaking up about the star, telling the world their experiences with him and the parties. Now, in 1994, Usher lived with Diddy, which is said to have been recommended by L.A. Reid so Usher could get the flavor of the high life. Diddy had custody of him and was able to do whatever he wanted with the future star. A 2016 clip of Usher on the Howard Stern show, though, has been going viral, as a clip shows Stern asking Usher if Diddy's home was known for wild parties. Usher then said, "Not really, I got a chance to see some things. I don't know if I could indulge and even understand what I was looking at." He went on to say, "It was pretty wild, it was crazy. There were very curious things taking place and I didn't necessarily understand it." Now, it seems like he was exposed to all of this at a very young age and was not ready. Diddy really took advantage of Usher's innocence, as I'm sure he saw some pretty messed up things happening. YouTuber Jeff Wittek has also spoken out about attending Diddy's parties. Now, he spoke about it on his podcast, Jeff FM. He claimed that he had a recent realization remembering he'd been to a Diddy party. And these Diddy parties are like effing crazy, like they're the best parties, like people wanted to go to them, he said. That's what's been so troubling about this whole thing, is like if you were anybody in the space at that time, you'd be at one of those parties. Everybody went to those parties and people took pictures with him too. Like, bro, if you were around in the mid-2000s and you saw Diddy at a Super Bowl, you'd take a picture with him. Now, speaking of the party he attended, Jeff said he went to one of them with Amber Rose and his ex-girlfriend, and remembers being confused over them getting dressed up. He continued by saying, "I'm like dressing up like I'm going to a normal party or whatever, like I got my effing polo with the collar pop, two of them, I've doubled up, and they're wearing this lingerie where their bodies are showing through, and I'm like, you guys are going like that," and they were like, "You don't understand these parties," and I did not understand. Now, Jeff also said he witnessed people getting intimate at the party right in front of him, and he said he did not participate in that part, but he got super drunk. "It was just crazy, I was literally there and lived through it," he added. Now, it seems like Ashton Kutcher knows something, but he's not willing to reveal it to the world. During a 2019 episode of Hot Ones, the host asked Ashton about Diddy's infamous parties. "I've got a lot I can't tell," he said. "Can't tell that one either, I'm actually cycling through them. Diddy party stories, man, that was some weird memory lane thing." Now, the fact that he has all these different stories but he can't tell them raises some eyebrows. It's like he knows what happened in the stories was wrong and messed up, and he doesn't want to admit it. Now, footage has emerged of Ashton at one of Diddy's white parties, and although there was nothing illegal shown in the clip, it still raises a lot of questions. Now, Diddy and Ashton met through MTV and became friends very quickly. I think Ashton knows more about the whole situation than he's really letting on to, as he could get into major trouble for what happened. Then there's the Kardashians. During a 2014 episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Khloe Kardashian told her older sister Kourtney that she spent the weekend with a bunch of her friends, including Diddy, Quincy Combs, Justin Bieber, and French Montana. Later on, she spoke more about the party to Kourtney and one of her friends who was also there. "I haven't been to bed yet, I got on a plane at 5:30 a.m., Khloe shared. "Well, this party, I think half the people were butt naked," she added. Then, Khloe's friend tried telling more about what happened, but Khloe shushed her. What was she trying to hide? Now, another clip, this time from a 2016 episode of Cocktails with Khloe, has gone viral, showing Khloe and Kourtney talking to Diddy. "Well, I know you're known for the parties. When you think of a party or a good time, you think of Puff," Khloe said. Now, Diddy simply responded, "Yeah," to which Khloe added, "We've been known to party with you a few times." Kourtney asking, "Do you remember Diddy's birthday?" to which Kourtney admitted, "Yes, I forgot about that. That was an epic night too." Ray J was recently interviewed by Chris Como on the news station Como, and he opened up about his relationship with Diddy, having gone to many of his parties. Ray J was adamant, though, that everything at these parties was normal. "We've never seen the stuff that's being said and the stuff that people's finding out. Like, I've never been in the rooms that people are talking about, and I never knew they existed," he said. Ray J then admitted Diddy's situation is unfortunate, and he says the next generation of entertainers should learn from the Bad Boy Records CEO's mistakes and show more integrity and transparency. But just because Ray J didn't see the crimes happening doesn't mean that they weren't. According to a former music industry insider, Tom Swoop, he had been to the parties and posted about it on his YouTube channel. He broke down how the parties worked for viewers and claims that the parties were separated into tiers of access. There was general admission, then a series of tears, ending with entrance to the inner circle where the real partying went on. Now, this allegedly included humiliating male and female guests on the promise of record deals or money. Now, it sounds like Ray J was part of the general admissions tier and wasn't exposed to all the bad things happening behind closed doors. In a resurfaced video from 2010, Russell Brand said that Diddy took him on an enforced holiday when the pair were working on the movie Get Him to the Greek. "Diddy is new to me, right?" he said at the time. "He looked after me, he took me on an enforced holiday to Vegas. He's a very intense man because I think he comes from nothing and now he's very, very powerful. People that do stuff like that, they're very intense. Now, I like him, he's very influential," he explained, adding that saying no to Diddy was difficult. Say that you don't want to do something and Diddy wants you to do it, it's really hard to not do that thing. You still do it because you think, don't upset him, he said. He's an influential person, he may ask you for loads of favors and you can't say no to him. That's my worry, pressure, he added. I don't want to be nobody's B, I work too hard in life, not even Diddy's B. Now, Russell has been accused of similar crimes as Diddy has been, which is just something to note. And finally, Rodney Jones was a producer on Diddy's last album and he filed a lawsuit against the star. He accused the rapper of mistreating him and exposing him to several crimes. In an August interview with Rolling Stone, Rodney called Diddy a monster and said he is hiding, afraid that he will have his life ended for speaking up against the star. "He's a monster," he told the magazine. "He'll do whatever necessary to get what he wants. He doesn't take no for an answer. He told me himself, I'll smack my mama. Anyone who can say that even jokingly is a monster. He's nothing to be played with." For a person whose brand is Love Records and changed their name to Love and named their kid Love, he doesn't show love, he's just marketing. He went on to say that he is afraid of Diddy. "I got threats, I've never had so much hitting me at once. Diddy has a lot of people on his payroll in a lot of different positions. He's very connected, it's made me nervous traveling," he said. Diddy, though, has denied all of this. Mr. Jones's lawsuit is pure fiction, a shameless attempt to create media hype and extract a quick settlement, Diddy's lawyer Erica Wolf said in a statement after filing a new motion to dismiss Rodney's amended 98-page complaint. Now, I think Rodney was very brave for what he's done, and his lawsuit was the catalyst in the downfall of Diddy.
In a heart-wrenching moment, Jennifer Lopez is left devastated as Jay-Z betrays her in a way no one saw coming. But that's not all. Hidden secrets about J-Lo's past are finally coming to light, and they're more shocking than anything we've ever heard. Why is Jay-Z turning on her now? And what are the dark truths she's been hiding all these years? Stay tuned to find out how this explosive drama unfolds. In an unexpected twist, Jennifer Lopez, one of Hollywood's most beloved stars, was left utterly devastated after someone she trusted, the very lawyer who has stood by Jay-Z's side for years, betrayed her in the worst possible way. And what's worse, this betrayal may have exposed her name in a high-profile legal case she never wanted to be associated with. For those of you who may not be up to speed, here's what you need to know. Earlier this month, a woman filed a civil lawsuit accusing Jay-Z and Diddy of SA back in 2000 when she was just 13 years old. The lawsuit contains several shocking allegations, and it sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. In the lawsuit, there's a reference to an unnamed individual called Celebrity B, who was allegedly present during the assault. However, the lawyer who filed the case was careful not to name anyone by name, except Jay-Z. And they kept the identity of Celebrity B under wraps, leaving the public speculating about who this mysterious person might be. But in a turn that no one saw coming, Jay-Z's response to the lawsuit, where he calls the allegations part of a false extortion plot, was far less discreet. Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Shapiro, may have made a huge slip-up. In his legal filing, Shapiro claimed that Diddy was with none other than Jennifer Lopez on the night of the alleged assault.
You know, she's one of the most beautiful people in the world, and I'm a pretty nice guy myself.
Yes, you heard that right. Jay-Z's lawyer, in trying to dismiss the case, may have just exposed J-Lo's name, something that could have serious consequences for her reputation, her career, and her privacy. Until now, Jennifer Lopez's team has remained silent. They didn't need to comment because, until that moment, her name wasn't even associated with the case. No one connected J-Lo to this lawsuit. But now, things are very different. Thanks to Alex Shapiro's legal filing, J-Lo's name has been dragged into this scandal, and it's a situation no one expected. Jennifer Lopez and Sean Diddy Combs dated from 1999 to 2001.
People didn't really take it as a serious relationship, but we really loved each other.
Their relationship was one of the most talked about celebrity romances of the time, drawing significant media attention. And now, with these new allegations, JLo might be more involved than we originally thought. It is even speculated that Ben Affleck chose to divorce JLo because of these allegations, and he didn't want to be involved with this case at all. It's a case that's already shaking up the world of entertainment and legal circles. The lawsuit also mentions another individual, referred to as Celebrity A, who was allegedly a witness to the assault. Her name is now linked to one of the most serious and high-profile lawsuits in Hollywood right now. The public will no doubt want answers. So, was this an accident? Or is Jay-Z's lawyer trying to manipulate the situation to protect his client at the expense of JLo? Did he expose Jennifer Lopez's name on purpose, or was it an unintended consequence of defending Jay-Z? One thing is for certain, this case is far from over. And Jennifer Lopez may now have a much bigger fight on her hands than anyone expected. From the Jay-Z betrayal to something a little bit more sinister. Jennifer Lopez has been trying to protect her reputation and image for years. But what if everything we know about her is a lie? We will reveal the sinister secrets JLo has kept hidden from the world, secrets that could destroy her carefully crafted persona. From her hidden past to the shocking truth behind her rise to fame, this is the one revelation you won't want to miss. Let's talk about her infamous relationship with Diddy. We now know that she might have been more involved with these most recent SA Party allegations, but there is another dark story from her past with Diddy. Jennifer Lopez and Diddy's relationship in the late 1990s was a full-blown media frenzy. They were the ultimate power couple at the time, constantly photographed together, and their every move was headline news. But their romance came to an abrupt and dramatic end after a terrifying incident in December 1999. Both JLo and Diddy were involved in a shooting outside a Manhattan nightclub, where they had been celebrating with friends. The shooting, which also involved Diddy's then-associate, resulted in a high-speed chase and a serious legal situation. While both JLo and Diddy were never charged with any crimes, the public scrutiny that followed was intense. There was a lot of speculation about what exactly happened that night and how involved they actually were. Despite not being directly implicated in the crime, JLo's association with Diddy and the fact that she was at the scene led to an explosion of media attention, much of it negative. It wasn't just a random club incident, it became a scandal that threatened to taint both their reputations. Okay, now, let's talk about her alleged role in breaking up marriages. JLo has been accused of being a homewrecker in some of her relationships. Perhaps the most notable instance of this was her relationship with Ben Affleck. It has been speculated that Jennifer was partially responsible for the breakup of Ben's marriage to Jennifer Garner as their relationship blossomed while Affleck was still married. While these claims are mostly speculative and based on tabloid gossip, they might have a lot of truth to them, from homewrecker to diva. Apparently, JLo has a lot of strict demands that she requires from her staff. She has a no mirrors, no lights rule on set. One of the most unusual demands she's made in the past was that she would not perform any scenes unless there were no mirrors or lights in the room. This was reportedly because she didn't want to be distracted by her own image during a scene. It was also rumored that she'd go so far as to ensure that there were no reflective surfaces like windows or shiny objects that could cause any interruptions to her performance or focus. Some even say that on one occasion, she refused to do a scene because the lighting wasn't up to her standards, even though the director had approved it. There are numerous stories about Jennifer Lopez's strict rules regarding eye contact. It's been reported that when JLo arrives on set, she expects people to avoid looking directly at her unless she's the one engaging with them. This level of control may come off as strange or even pretentious, but for JLo, it's all about maintaining her queen image. Now let's talk about how she is a master manipulator. JLo has managed to use the media to craft and perfect her public persona in ways that some would call manipulative. When Jennifer's relationships are in the headlines, her music or movie promotions tend to follow shortly after. This is seen as a way to distract from or amplify personal narratives, depending on what's happening in her private life at the time. In fact, there have been several instances when the public became distracted by dramatic personal events, such as her engagement and subsequent breakup with Ben Affleck in 2004, and suddenly, JLo would have a new album coming out, or a brand new project she was involved with. The media, naturally, would shift its focus toward her professional life. This kind of timing can be seen as a deliberate tactic, almost as if J.Lo's team uses personal drama to create a springboard for her next project, ensuring she stays in the spotlight, but for the right reasons. So, from Jennifer Lopez's emotional breakdown over Jay-Z's shocking betrayal to the dark secrets that have finally come to light, this story is full of twists and turns. It's clear that J.Lo's life is more complicated than we ever imagined, and with each new revelation we're left wondering, what else is she hiding? Do you think this betrayal will change everything for J.Lo's career and public image? And what about those dark secrets? Could this be just the beginning of a bigger story? Let us know your thoughts.
Well, there's one person you probably wouldn't want to be passed out around, and that's Sean Combs. Now, I'm not sure if you've heard of this guy, but he is in jail. And Thanksgiving was not a very fun time for old Puff Daddy. Diddy, who's facing serious charges related to trafficking, racketeering, and other SA cases, just keeps getting denied bail. At the time of this recording, a judge has denied him bail for a third time. His lawyers wanted a $50 million bail package. They also offered house arrest, and they said that he'd have 24-hour security monitoring, but prosecutors just weren't having it, saying that no conditions could prevent him from obstructing justice. They're having trouble keeping him from obstructing justice while behind bars, so keeping him at home probably wouldn't be any better. But more on that in a bit. Let's talk about what Diddy ate on Thanksgiving, because I'm sure everyone wants to know. Diddy spent Thanksgiving behind bars. Thanksgiving, more like no thanks giving. Anyway, being in jail means strict rules and regulations, which of course includes the nasty food you gotta eat. Thanksgiving was no different. For this holiday, Diddy got the usual prison meal lineup. His breakfast was pretty basic: fruit, cereal, some sort of pastry, and skim milk. For lunch, he had turkey roast, mashed potatoes, mixed vegetables, cranberry sauce, turkey gravy, dinner rolls, and holiday pies. Wait a minute, that sounds a lot like Thanksgiving to me. All it's missing is the stuffing. Considering Diddy's crimes though, I guess it's fitting that was left out. He's already done plenty of stuffing himself, and look where it got him. Instead, the best part of the meal was replaced with hot and sour tofu. There we go. That's more like it. That'll ruin any good meal. Tofu. Ugh. Sorry for the tofu lovers in the audience, all two of you. Now keep in mind, the turkey dinner was actually lunch. For actual dinner, it was a simple meal of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, potato chips, whole wheat bread, and a fruit drink. A PB&J sandwich plus an extra side of bread. I've never heard of anything like that in my life. Just imagine someone handing you a sandwich and they're like, oh, by the way, check this out. You got a side of bread with that as well. A meal of bread with spread and then more bread. I never want to go to jail. I think that meal has just put me off for good. I will never attend one of Diddy's freak-offs ever again. These are very specific rules that he needs to adhere to when it comes to visitors as well. While he waits his trial, he's being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. He's still allowed to have visitors, but there are some pretty strict rules that they have to follow. Diddy's visitation privileges are limited to just 1 hour per week for approved social visits. The visits happen during a set time slot, and he can only have one visitor at a time. The visit starts when Diddy enters the room. Once the time is up, it's over. Visitors are not allowed to use the same restroom as Diddy, for obvious reasons. Personal items like phones, wallets, keys, and watches have to be stored in a locker in the lobby. None of that can make its way into the visiting room. There are also very specific rules about what visitors can wear. Anything provocative is strictly off limits. Not sure where they draw the line here, but if it were up to me, everyone would have to dress in full librarian or nun regalia. Just can't have Diddy getting all frisky in there, right? Visitors are also not allowed to wear open-toed shoes or shirts with holes in them, which sucks because I wanted to go visit Diddy and I had my favorite flip-flops and my hole-ridden t-shirt laid out that the moths got at. Who wears shirts with holes in them? I know people sometimes wear like jeans, ripped up jeans, that kind of looks cool, but a shirt with holes, that's never been done. Also, sweatpants, hoodies, hats, scarves, sunglasses, and sleeveless clothes are also prohibited. I think I still said sleeveless wrong. And sleeveless clothes are also prohibited. Even military uniforms aren't allowed unless visitors are wearing official ID. Now, it comes to physical contact, Diddy's favorite pastime. Diddy is allowed a brief hug and a quick peck at the beginning and end of each visit. No oils or lotions or creams involved. Visitors also are not allowed to bring Diddy any gifts, money, parcels during these visits. If a visitor or Diddy himself leaves the visiting room at any point, they're not allowed to come back in unless they get special permission. Diddy is being held in the special housing unit at the MDC, which is designed to provide an extra level of security, according to his lawyer. So Combs just recently broke some rules in the slammer, though. Behind what appeared to be this simple family celebration, prosecutors say that he was running a much more calculated operation. Now, he's being accused of trying to manipulate the justice system from behind bars. Prosecutors claim that Diddy used his family's birthday video, which went viral in early November, to kind of sway public opinion and potentially influence a jury. And you know what? It seems like it's worked for some gullible dummies out there. The comment section of this birthday video on TikTok, like, yikes. People see family and they're just automatically like, oh, well, it can't be that bad, right? I mean, there's comments like, happy birthday, Diddy. God will turn it all around for you. And this next confusing comment, everyone makes mistakes. I pray that he get the chance like anyone else would have gone. Now, aside from the incomprehensible butchering of the English language in that second comment, I mean, seriously, everyone makes mistakes? Do you really call what Diddy's been getting up to for like decades a mistake? A mistake is like, oops, I was a bit of a jerk today, said some things I didn't mean, woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Even a deadly car accident can be a mistake. I mean, they often are. People aren't usually driving around trying to kill people, but intentionally using people in the creepiest of ways multiple times over the course of years, that's just not really an oopsie. I can't even go into details on the crimes here without this video getting all the YouTube flags. So please, folks, I cannot lose any more faith in humanity than I already have. Just try to have some semblance of sanity and just use your brain. I don't know, maybe read about the case before making comments like this. Now, according to court documents obtained on November 15th, Diddy's birthday celebration seemed like a sweet, innocent family moment. His 7 young ones, Quincy, Justin, Christian, Chance, Delilah, Jesse, and Love, sang happy birthday, cut a cake. But prosecutors now argue that this was all part of Diddy's carefully orchestrated campaign, that he directed his family to post the video on their Instagram accounts, hoping it would tug at people's heartstrings and influence potential jurors. Like I said, definitely worked for some people, and I gotta clarify, I do feel bad for his family. He should have been thinking about them more before he did what he did. Anyway, the video made headlines, and prosecutors are saying it was all part of a strategy, that Diddy monitored its impact, discussing with his family how to maximize its effect. Diddy's also accused of breaking more prison rules. The feds say that while in custody, he used the phones of at least 8 other inmates to make unauthorized calls, and even used an illegal third-party messaging service to reach out to multiple other people, including witnesses. As you can imagine, this is a big deal, a pretty clear violation of prison regulations. According to prosecutors, Diddy was doing everything he could to avoid being monitored by law enforcement, claiming that he set up social media campaigns designed to influence the jury pool, like we talked about just now, attempted to leak materials that could help his case, and reached out to witnesses using third-party channels. Prosecutors also allege that Diddy bribed inmates by depositing funds into their commissary accounts, helping him communicate in secret. They say he even instructed his family and legal team to use 3-way calls, a tactic that helps hide who else is involved in the conversation. This kind of behavior, prosecutors argue, shows that Combs has no intention of following the rules, even behind bars. He's facing trial in 2025 and has been pushing hard for bail, but it's kind of hard to get bail when you're constantly sneaking around messing with things before your trial has even started. And with these new allegations piling up, prosecutors are making it clear they want to keep him locked up. They've even accused him of trying to manipulate witnesses through blackmail to keep them quiet or to get them to say things that could help him in court. Now, how does one entertain themselves in jail, aside from working out and other stuff I can't talk about on YouTube? Well, these are some more basic rules and restrictions placed on Diddy while locked up, as well as what he has access to. He has no access to TV or the radio, but he does have a copy of the Bible, and that's a pretty thick book. so that should entertain him for a while. Along with that, he's also got one extra book a week. I don't think the Kama Sutra will be included. Last thing this guy needs is more ideas. Along with the books, he gets 300 hours of phone time per month. No, not those adult numbers that show up on TV late at night, Diddy. Call your family. And do those adult hotline ads even still exist? Have I dated myself? I think I have, because I believe I called him Puff Daddy at one point. And I think as soon as I showed up on camera, I probably dated myself for a lot of people in the audience. But here's a weird one to finish things off. Diddy can also wear a tracksuit and sneakers while locked up. Not much to say on that, really. It's just an interesting little tidbit to finish things off.
Diddy will be in jail for a very long time for the crimes he committed at his infamous parties. But now, with photos and videos being leaked of the big bashes, some celebrities are scared as they could be implicated with his crimes. Now, since Diddy's arrest, various photos and videos have been leaked and have resurfaced, and celebs are panicking over it. Now, starting off, there's Ashton Kutcher. Now, past footage of him at one of Diddy's white parties, having a good time on a swing, has been going around. Also, photos of him and his then-wife Demi Moore have resurfaced. With this, people have looked more into Ashton and Diddy's past friendship, and it's honestly concerning. Ashton was actually really close with Diddy, and he once said, "If you're a single man, there's probably no greater human being in the world to hang out with. This is 20 years ago, 19 years ago. We were having a lot of fun together." Then, concerning footage of Ashton not being able to name an appropriate favorite Diddy party memory surfaced. While appearing on Hot Ones, host Sean Evans asked Ashton for his favorite memory at a Diddy party, but Ashton said, "I've got a lot I can't tell." He laughed and said, "I can't tell that one either." So if he can't tell those stories, how bad were they? But it said that Ashton himself is worried about what could happen with this whole Diddy situation. An insider source revealed that Ashton absolutely regrets his friendship with Diddy, considering what has happened. He feels lied to, betrayed, taken for granted, and manipulated. Everyone who is close to Diddy fears the possibility of Diddy making up false allegations to clear his own name. Although Kutcher is frightened by the prospect of being involved in the case, he is also prepared to completely cooperate with authorities because he has nothing to hide. Now, in the past, Diddy once named Leo as the #1 person on his white party invitation list, which raises some eyebrows. I mean, you don't just say that. Now, people have been looking at Leo strange, but a source close to Leo says that he's not been in contact with Diddy for years, saying he never attended freak-offs and has nothing to do with the case. Now, the pair were last seen together in 2019 when Leo attended Diddy's 50th birthday party. But a source went on to say, Leonardo DiCaprio has absolutely nothing to do with any of this. He attended a few of his parties back in the early 2000s, but literally everyone did. They were not freak-offs, they were big house parties. Leo was at the start of his career at the time and has moved way past his partying. He has nothing to do with any of that world, so for anyone to assume that he will get roped into this based on a few grainy photos that are more than 20 years old is ridiculous. Then, of course, there's the Kardashians. Kim and Khloe Kardashian have been spotted at multiple Diddy parties, and in recent years, the whole Kar-Jenner family have been spotted with Diddy. They posted about it on social media, talked about him on their reality shows, and Khloe even had Diddy on as a guest on her show Cocktails with Khloe. Now, they have a real deep friendship, but fans noticed that Kim unfollowed Diddy since the raid on his houses. Khloe, though, still has an Instagram photo up of her, Diddy, and her sisters together, and captioned the post, "No party like a Diddy party." Yeah. Then there's the fact that Kris Jenner is dating Corey Gamble, who was good friends with Diddy. An insider said that Corey was aware of Diddy's controversial engagements, and a lot of people believe that Corey must have had some knowledge of what was going on. Now, an insider also noted, though, that he totally denies these allegations. However, it's been said that Kris has already started to plan her family's rescue in case things get dirty for her daughters. It's all very ugly and very embarrassing, and Kris is scrambling to distance them all from this and distract everyone, but that's going to be impossible if they get called to testify. Now, another source said all these years that they bragged about partying with Diddy have of course got everyone assuming that they were somehow involved in these deprived freak-offs. They then asserted that the family had no idea of the sorts of twisted things he was up to after hours. Now, talking to In Touch magazine, the insider continued, Diddy had plenty of glamorous parties over the years that weren't freak-offs, at least not until the early morning hours when the majority of people had left. Now, the insider suggests that Kris is presently scrambling to distance them from all of this, and I can't blame her. Then there's the VHS tape that was recently leaked. Now, a source sent page 6 of VHS tape that was sent out as an invitation to Diddy's 29th birthday in 1998. It begins with a strange home video style skit in which Danny DeVito, lying on a sofa under a blanket, says, "That's right, Puff Daddy is having a party, and this is Puff Daddy inviting you to come. Let's have a ball." Then a group of celebs take turns reading from a script detailing the date and time, exactly how fabulous and expensive the party will be, and then reading an address to RSVP to. They then said that the venue would be revealed later. Now, this group of celebrities includes Oprah, Ellen DeGeneres, Chris Rock, Mariah Carey, Will Smith, and Joan Rivers, to name a few. It's also been said that the whole video is 6 minutes long, but just over a minute of it was posted. Now, what happens in the other 5 minutes of it? No one really knows. People who have seen this, though, claim that the celebs involved in the tape should be looked at as potential accomplices in Diddy's case, as they appear to be good friends with him and have close ties. And hey, I gotta say, I agree with this. I mean, everyone should be looked into, as the crimes Diddy is being accused of are absolutely disgusting, and he clearly was not alone committing them. Now, Ray J, who is friends with Diddy, has spoken out about how some celebrities are paying off their victims when it comes to the freak-offs. Ray J said, "I'm hearing about artists paying victims to keep their names out of it." Now, Tony Busby, the attorney representing more than 120 alleged victims, disclosed that he has sent out demand letters to the celebrities, asking them to pay up or face the consequences. Now, Tony had previously mentioned that investigations into Diddy's case had implicated several Hollywood big shots. He has disclosed that he's now going after other celebrities, though, who attended Diddy's freak-offs, even if they did nothing wrong. In a new appearance on TMZ's documentary, The Downfall of Diddy, Inside the Freak-Offs, Tony claims such big names are as guilty as those who perpetrated the crimes, explaining that their silence and unwillingness to stand against it makes them liable. Now, I wonder if any of the celebrities we mentioned before were sent these letters. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And I mean, in a September 17th letter to a judge arguing for Diddy to be jailed until he is brought to trial, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams claimed that his office has the testimony of dozens of witnesses and victims to his serial mistreatment and evidence from dozens of his own electronic devices and those of his co-conspirators. Investigators have taken in more than 90 cell phones, laptops, cloud storage accounts, as well as at least 30 storage devices. They issued more than 300 grand jury subpoenas to obtain this evidence from communication providers, tech and social media companies, financial institutions, and Diddy's companies. Prosecutors allegedly have dozens of videos depicting Diddy's so-called freak-offs that corroborate witness testimony. So who knows really how many people were involved in all of this. A new documentary about Diddy and his crimes has been made, but it is said to have new, never-before-seen footage that will destroy him. Now, a new trailer for the documentary Diddy, The Making of the Bad Boy by Peacock has been released, and the doc comes out on January 14th. Now, its main purpose is to explore the criminal allegations made against Diddy. It shows that viewers will be getting an inside look into the star from his intern, producer, friend, bodyguard, and makeup artist. Now, according to Peacock, Peacock, the film will look into Diddy's early years, his decades-long transformation to Puffy and then Diddy, with crucial insight into the forces that shaped the man and may have made him a monster. Now in the trailer, it shows many new clips that we've never seen before, like him partying, yelling at people to stop filming him, and him in the studio telling someone, "I can show you how we have fun and stay out of jail too." Right there, that seems so incriminating to me, and like he really knew what he was doing was wrong, as innocent people aren't scared of the police like that. Now, according to Peacock's official synopsis, Diddy, the Making of a Bad Boy is a raw, exclusive look at Sean Combs long before he was known as Puff or Diddy. Featuring never-before-seen footage and stories from those who know him best, Diddy, the Making of a Bad Boy sheds light on his childhood, rise to fame, and recent criminal allegations, challenging viewers to rethink everything they thought they knew about the mogul behind the music and the mugshot. Now, I think this will give us a lot of new information about the star that we previously didn't know. Diddy, though, is not a fan of this documentary, as his lawyer put out a statement that said, "These documentaries include unchecked claims and provide platforms for baseless conspiracy theories without accountability or evidence." They added, in the case of the Peacock documentary in particular, the motivations and credibility of those being interviewed must be questioned. Many claim to have knowledge but lack any connection to the truth, while their wild, unfounded theories are cut and sensationalized to appear factual. Now, Diddy has denied everything he's been accused of so far, so it really doesn't surprise me that he's denying the things that are going to be said in this documentary. In March of 2024, Diddy's house was raided, and then that September, he was arrested for running a crime ring for decades. Now, since he's been in prison, he's been accused of many more crimes and has faced many more lawsuits. It just does not look good for him at all. I mean, his team requested bail and judges denied it 3 different times. Now, the last judge said, "I don't believe that counsel has the ability to control you, given the very significant concerns I have, particularly because of substance use and what seems like anger issues. The danger, I think, is quite serious." They added of Combs' release, deciding that the bond package his team offered would not assure his return to the court or the safety of the community or lack of witness tampering. Now, fellow rapper 50 Cent has always seen through Diddy and the type of person he is. I mean, 50 Cent has been calling out Diddy since the early 2000s and has continued to defend what he said in the past. He's been very public about not going to Diddy parties and saying how weird they were. When Diddy's house got raided in March this year, 50 Cent poked fun at the star, and after Diddy was arrested in September for various crimes, 50 Cent said he knew this all along and was happy that people were finally listening to him. "Look, it seems like I'm doing some extremely outrageous things, but I haven't," he told People in October. "It's really me just saying what I've been saying for 10 years. He added, "Now it's becoming more full-facing in the news with the Puffy stuff, but away from that, I'm like, yo, it's just my perspective, because I stayed away from all that stuff the entire time, because this is not my style." Now, 50 Cent is actually also making a documentary about Diddy called Diddy He Do It. Now, it's been said that it will follow a complex narrative spanning decades, series director Alexandria Stapleton told Variety. So it seems like we're getting another documentary, so buckle up, people. Now, I'm sure that 50 will do everything he can to get the real truth out, no matter how horrible it is, which will probably piss Diddy off, if we're being honest. One thing Diddy is really worried about getting out is all the information about his freak-offs at his parties. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams claimed his office has the testimony of dozens of witnesses and victims to Diddy's serial mistreatment and evidence from dozens of his own electronic devices and those of his co-conspirators. Investigators have taken more than 90 cell phones, laptops, cloud storage accounts, as well as at least 30 storage devices. They issued more than 300 grand jury subpoenas to obtain this evidence from communication providers, tech and social media companies, financial institutions, and Combs companies. Now, prosecutors allegedly have dozens of videos depicting Diddy's so-called freak-offs that corroborate witness testimony. Now, it's alleged that the rapper would coerce and manipulate victims into taking part in day day-long performances, which he dubbed freak-offs. Now, Diddy's associates would allegedly give the victims substances to keep them compliant and would make threats against anyone refusing to engage. In October, a witness who testified before the grand jury in Diddy's trial previously claimed that he had seen videos of major celebrities being victimized at the hip-hop mogul's notorious freak-off parties. Courtney Burgess testified before the grand jury about the tapes, which he says comes from a flash drive kept by Diddy's ex, Kim Porter. Courtney described some of what the footage shows, claiming all of the stars featured appeared to be under the influence of substances or alcohol. Now, he did not name any of the celebrities said to be in the videos, but he claims that the videos were taken by cameras in Diddy's homes that were not always obvious to those in the room. Now, it appears that these tapes are real, as Daniel Baldwin has claimed celebrities are in a bidding war over the alleged Diddy tapes amid fears their alleged participation in the rapper's parties will be revealed. They're driving that price up, because if you want your client and your famous actor to not be involved or famous singer to not come out, here's the price. And they're just selling to individuals that are in those. That's what I've heard. They're selling those videos, he said. Now, he theorized that a person who did appear in the videos would be fearful the footage would be released, stating the possible participant would not want the video to come out. Now, Diddy added that what differentiated a Diddy party from a typical gathering was the manner in which they ended. Does anyone ever come up to you at a certain hour and say, okay, it's time to go? At those parties, they did. At the certain time, he shut it down, but not everyone left. So anyone that wasn't super famous or I'm with him or whatever were exited from the house. You were gone. Now, this is similar to what an anonymous source told Us Weekly too. They were known to be wild, a source who attended the party shared in an issue. Anything went at those parties. Now, according to multiple sources, unsavory behavior took place at Diddy's after parties. As I said, what happened before 2 a.m. pales in comparison to what happened at 5 a.m., said the first source. Now, a second source who wrangled guests for Diddy's white parties between 2006 and 2011 similarly told Us Weekly that high-profile celebs would leave around 2 or 3 a.m. because they knew the party was going to take a turn. Girls would start to lose their clothes, and that was a signal for people to leave, explains the source. Which, just, Diddy needs to be locked up for a long time for what he did. Now, not to mention, in the documentary trailer, it appears that they briefly touch on the subject of these freak-offs. One anonymous source who claimed to have been with Sean for quite a while and captured a lot of moments says anytime a studio or any room is red, he's making love. Among some other things that I really can't say here. Now, it's honestly just gross, and it seems like so many people knew what was going on, but no one stood up against it. Now, thankfully, they're speaking up now, but if someone spoke up sooner, there could have been so many victims who could have been saved. Now, currently, Diddy's trial is set for May 5th, 2025, and everyone will be paying attention to it. He'll continue to maintain his innocence, but hopefully it will be televised so people will be able to see the evil, disgusting person he truly is.
Jennifer Lopez has found herself caught up in the latest accusations against Jay-Z after a leaked photo of her and P. Diddy fighting at one of his infamous parties went viral. Jennifer Lopez has been linked to Jay-Z's essay allegations after photos surfaced of her arguing with Diddy on the night of the alleged incident. These old after-party photos of Jay-Z and Diddy have appeared on social media amid horrific allegations. The lady claimed that she was essayed when she was a young woman by Jay-Z and Diddy. In the newly surfaced photo, Jennifer Lopez can also be seen now, and Lopez, who dated Combs from 1999-2001 and were considered to actually be one of the most famous high-profile couples of the Hollywood entertainment industry, hogging the limelight and capturing media attention of the late 90s, is seen in photos arguing with Combs at the after party. Now, to give a brief backstory, J-Lo and Diddy dated from 1999-2001, and their relationship witnessed everything from glamorous appearances, emotional turbulence, and eventually even legal troubles. And when Diddy was in a relationship with Jennifer, he had an infatuation with Kim Porter, who would go on to be the mother of his 3 children, Christian and twin daughters, Jessie and Delilah. She sadly passed away in 2018, and that's a whole different can of worms to open, so we won't even get into that right now. So going back to this lawsuit, there was a third female celebrity listed in it, and while there was no suggestion that Lopez Lopez is the unnamed third celebrity in the lawsuit, the resurfacing of these photos has drawn renewed attention to her past relationship with Combs. Now, after the case was filed, Jay-Z called the allegations idiotic and heinous in nature in a statement released by one of his companies. He also revealed that he had anonymously sued the woman's lawyer, Tony Busby, in California, alleging Busby was trying to blackmail him by threatening to make the allegation public if he didn't agree to a legal settlement. Jay-Z said a letter his lawyer received from Busby appeared to seek a settlement but had the opposite effect. He said, "It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion, so no, I will not give you one red penny." The lawsuit, originally filed in October, claims that the victim, who identified only as Jane Doe, was unknowingly put under the influence by an illegal substance, she said, after consuming like a reddish yellow drink. She then began feeling woozy and lightheaded and was allegedly essayed by both Combs and Jay-Z. It also claims the third celebrity stood by and watched the events unfold. Lopez has yet to publicly comment on the lawsuit or the resurfaced images. The litigation is part of a wave of essay lawsuits against Combs as this hip-hop mogul remains in custody in New York awaiting trial on federal charges. An updated complaint in a civil case against Combs alleges that Jay-Z and Combs essayed the girl at an after-party following the MTV Video Music Awards in September of 2000. Now, according to the allegations, Combs aggressively approached the victim with a crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her and said, "You ready to party?" Incidentally, in the complaint, the woman alleged that Combs and Carter took turns with her. Many others were present at the after party but did nothing to stop it. Colin Rugg, who shared the photos on X, formerly known as Twitter, said, "Here are photos of the party. Jay-Z is in the red shirt. I had previously shared this lawsuit on X, but Jay-Z was not named. He was referred to as Celebrity A. Here are some celebrities who were in attendance at the party: Jay-Z, J-Lo, Ben Stiller." The lawsuit was originally filed in October in the Southern District of New York, and at the time did not actually name Jay-Z as a defendant, though the amended lawsuit says that Jay-Z was identified as Celebrity A on the original complaint. Tony Busby, the Texas lawyer representing the girl who filed Sunday's lawsuit, has filed at least 20 civil lawsuits against Combs, accusing him of misconduct. Busby, in his amended lawsuit, says his legal firm had previously sent Jay-Z a letter seeking to mediate a settlement. The lawsuit says he responded to that letter by filing a lawsuit against Busby and by orchestrating a conspiracy of harassment against Busby and other lawyers in his firm, which the lawyer said was an intimidation tactic meant to silence his client. In a post on social media, Busby said the alleged victim he is representing never demanded a penny from Jay-Z, writing that she only sought a confidential mediation. In the recent days, though, the woman who has accused Jay-Z and Sean Combs of essaying her when she was a young woman shared new details about her recollection of the night of the alleged incident. Now, in an interview with NBC News, the woman, now a 38-year-old mother of two who lives in Alabama, said she stayed quiet for over 24 years because she felt no one would have believed her. She said, "Even if somebody found out, who was gonna believe me? I mean, it was the words of two celebrities against mine." Among the new details, the Alabama woman claimed that during the alleged incident, Jay-Z placed his hand over her mouth and told her to stop when she resisted. In a statement, Jay-Z denied the new and old allegations, continuing to say that the complaint was filed in pursuit of money and fame. He added, "This incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon." Combs has denied all allegations against him. His legal team said that now a plaintiff of Busby's has been exposed for falsely claiming to be a victim. This is the beginning of the end of the shameful money grab. Combs' attorney said that in a shared statement. And the alleged victim's decision to refile her lawsuit to include Jay-Z was a major development, as he is the only other high-profile defendant named in the case alongside Combs. It's hard to say whether or not Jennifer Lopez now being dragged into all of this will or will not talk about it privately or publicly. Many believe she should provide some sort of explanation or clarity around what exactly went on in the photos. Was she arguing, or was it a moment captured by a bad angle that made it look more sinister than not? What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think she knows what really happened? Do you think she is the celebrity woman that's referenced in the lawsuit? Let me know.
During an intimate discussion with Oprah, peeling away the layers of his complex life that we now know all too much about, Puffy once evoked curiosity by avoiding details about the origin of his well-known moniker. The conversation, part of an interview for Oprah's O magazine, began casually. Oprah just inquired about the name's beginnings, and Puffy said, "It's a nickname somebody gave me." And now Oprah being Oprah, she probed a little further, and he got reserved. He said, "I've never told anyone that. I know you can get people to tell you everything, Oprah, but I can't look you in the eye and explain that one." He said, "No more Puff Daddy. The first week in June, we're gonna have a name change ceremony." Now that was something he announced in 2001. He said, "No, I'm gonna rock with the name that we all know him by now." He said, "My man Biggie gave me that name." Now this was all after crimes committed by Puffy that I can't talk about on here without sounding like a cartoon character, but I'm sure you can find them. Also, this is kind of around the same time that folks assumed that Puff Daddy had something to do with the passing of Biggie. Make of that what you will. Now, in terms of folks who have called Oprah out for hanging out with icky people, Rose McGowan is the name you're going to want to remember. She's called Oprah as fake as they come in a scathing Twitter post. Now, this was technically over Oprah's friendship with scummy producers who I can't even name because they're that awful. She shared a photo of Oprah kissing a disgraced Hollywood producer on the cheek. Nope, we can't show that photo, folks. Just work with me here. It was a photograph taken at the 2014 Critics' Choice Movie Awards. It's really easy to find. Now, Rose McGowan is an early Me Too activist. She gets accused a lot of folks of wrongdoing, specifically this particular producer who I can't name. So she accompanied that photo with a caption reading, "I am glad more are seeing the ugly truth of Oprah. I wish she were real, but she isn't. From being pals with insert anonymous producer's name here, to abandoning and destroying victims, she is about supporting a sick power structure for personal gain. Once again, she is as fake as they come. Hashtag lizard." Now, the victims she referred to are those of a hip-hop music mogul. Technically not the one I'm talking about today, but put two and two together make four, folks. She was talking about one who was accused of more than a dozen cases of SA or misconduct since 2017. So not the 2024 situation. Now that guy responded by admitting inappropriate conduct in some instances, but he disputed the allegations of non-consensual interactions. So here's the thing. As allegations continue surfacing about all these infamous white parties, the freak-offs, and all the other hula-baloo, so it might be a hot minute before we get the details that we're looking for because everybody had to sign an NDA. So if we're looking at it, it's pretty boilerplate. You can't share information related to the disgraced music mogul, you can't talk about partners, family members, friends, business associates, you can't photograph, film, or record Puff Daddy or anybody around him without written consent, you can't, and like it names the specific social media platforms where you can't post any photos or videos of the bad boy founder without permission. You also can't give an interview, you can't write a book, you can't discuss anything you saw or anything you were part of, and it just really covers anything that could get Puffy into trouble. Granted, the NDA does expire. Like I did some research and very popular news outlets, the three initial ones, they say that the signed document is valid for the length of Puff Daddy's life, plus 20 years or 70 years. Yeah, whichever is longer. Look, it's boilerplate, but it's, kind of explaining why anybody that attended these parties kind of needs his written consent to share any info, and seeing as he's currently behind bars and keeping tight lips, yeah, I know. But here's the thing, the NDA hasn't kept the authorities out of somebody's business. Even though it sounds airtight, we all know some of his deepest secrets, and that kind of was enough for the city of Miami to say, we want our key back. Now, they gave him the key in 2015, so 9 years ago, after his former media company, Revolt, held the Revolt Music Conference in the city. Now, after the footage came out of him and Cassie, poor thing, and all the allegations and the arrest, Miami was like, yeah, no. They also said no more to Puff Daddy Day. That was an annual thing on October 13th, apparently. And also, this isn't the first key to the city he's lost this year. Back in June, New York was like, absolutely not. The mayor sent a letter asking for the honorary key back, and Puff Daddy was like, okay, here you go. And that's not the only thing that's been like, yeah, no, we want our stuff back. I believe Howard University revoked the honorary degree that Puffy received in 2014. And remember when I mentioned Revolt a moment ago? Yeah, that was sold back to the employees. They were like, yep, no, here you go, take that back. He doesn't deserve it. So one person who has come forward might provide some answers as to why everybody else is staying mum. 50 Cent has had a lot to say about Puffy, about Oprah, you name it, we're gonna say it. Now, he's addressed his relationship with Puffy in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. And he was like, look, I worked in the same circles as Puffy back in the day, and he kind of explained why he never attended any parties. He said, I've been very vocal about not going to Puffy parties and doing like that. I've been staying out of that for years. It's just an uncomfortable energy connected to it. Yes, I'm self-bleeping myself, folks. It's easier for my editor. So he asked to take me shopping, 50 said. I thought that was the weirdest in the world because that might be something that somebody says to somebody they're interested in romantically. And I'm just like, nah, I'm not effing with this weird energy or weird coming off the way he was just moving. From that, I wasn't comfortable around him. The producer and actor is actually making a documentary about the allegations. I believe Netflix bought the rights back in May, and apparently the proceeds from the docuseries is going to go towards victims of SA. Now, when folks asked, hey, why are you making this documentary? 50 Cent said, I'm the only one from hip-hop culture that's produced quality projects. We do have a lot of talent within our culture where the talent has developed a comfortability in front of the camera, so they're usually a part of it as an actor or driving force of why someone would watch the project, but not the behind-the-scenes production, producing the whole project. So there's a difference. Now, once again, folks, you gotta remember, 50 Cent worked adjacent to Puffy in the early 2000s, but he's like, nope, we were never, ever, ever friends. He said, and I quote, it was mostly work. I wouldn't call it a friendship because there wouldn't be disappointment between us if we didn't speak to each other. There's points that we worked together. Jennifer Lopez actually told him he should work with 50 Cent as a songwriter in the beginning, and I was around that early stages, and he could have done my record deal at that point, which was around the year 2000, folks, if you're looking for a timeline. Now, 50 Cent said, following me being fired up by somebody who had a weapon outside of somebody's grandmother's house, and after Trackmaster signed Puffy, 50 Cent said, I'm just getting back to work, and Puffy would call me to write. And he mentioned somebody else would answer the phone. 50 Cent didn't want to get on the phone, and he was like, no. And somebody else was like, what the heck, we need money. And 50 Cent was like, no, I don't want to talk to him. He said, I didn't want to party with him, I didn't want to hang out with him. Puffy's a business person. When people call him a producer, I see people that were taken advantage of, who produce things that he took from them. He got the credit, but he's not a producer. He's been able to take advantage of the business and the creatives in it. I don't have any interest in doing that. I actually fall under the creative, so I just didn't take to hanging out with that. Now, 50 Cent got asked, hey, why isn't everybody else speaking up like you are? He said, well, some of them were involved at the parties and enjoyed themselves, so they don't know what the F is on tape or what's not on tape, so they're not gonna say anything because they might have had too much fun. And then you've got other people who look and go, well, that's not my business and I don't wanna be it. And then you've got a part of culture that says, that's snitching. And it's not uncomfortable for 50 Cent to say what they said because they've been saying it for however many years. I've been telling you, I don't mess with them, I don't like the way you're moving, this is crazy. Everybody else is not going to be as comfortable as I am saying it.